I'm Jeremy for The Armory Life. My love for firearms started at a really early age thanks to games like GoldenEye 007 and the Call of Duty series. Before working in the firearms industry, most of my firearms knowledge came from video games and movies. One of my all-time favorite rifles from video games was the Mk14 MOD 0 from Call of Duty Modern Warfare. That rifle was so popular, it's followed into just about every single series of the Call of Duty games since then. I can still remember the excitement of unlocking that rifle and utilizing it within that game. It just felt so powerful. The sound, the look, it was just an extremely bold rifle that made you feel invincible. As I began my career in the industry, I learned more about a wide range of firearms, but my love for the M14 and its variants only grew. Then, in 2020, I had the opportunity to write my first article for Springfield Armory. Naturally, I chose the M1A loaded precision to write about. Since that article, I have written 10 articles involving M1A rifles, 3 of which deal with the legendary team at Smith Enterprise LLC. I had the honor of working with Ron and Andy over at Smith Enterprise to build out an M21A5 Crazy Horse rifle. Through the process, I was blown away by their craftsmanship and the history of the shop. I decided to hand them over my beloved M1A SOCOM with a Sage International EBR chassis. My goal was to have them turn that rifle into a proper Mk14 EBR Mod 0, similar to the one that was delivered to the Navy SEALs. The history of that rifle is quite interesting, to say the least. In the year 2000, the United States Navy SEALs requested a more compact version of the M14 that could be used for close quarters combat as well as long-range engagements. The timing was perfect for the Mk14 EBR to shine. In 2003, Smith Enterprise created its own version of the Mk14 EBR, the Mk14 SEI. That used a medium-weight 18-inch barrel, which utilized their Vortex flash hider. This rifle would eventually be used as the basis for the Mk14 Mod 0 in partnership with Springfield Armory. The Mk14 EBR Mod 0 was delivered to the Navy SEALs in 2004 with great success. Ron and Andy got to work on my M1A, and over the next few months, I would get updates with sneak peeks on the progress. I've never been so antsy for a craftsman to return my rifle as I was for this one. This was my dream build coming to life. I provided SEI with my M1A SOCOM, a Sage EBR chassis, EOTech Voodoo 3.5 to 18 by 50, and an Atlas bipod. Ron and Andy over at SEI poured over my rifle ad nauseum until everything was absolutely perfect. A few weeks ago, I got a text with a grouping from the range showing off the sub-MOA capability of the rifle. I was down there at sunrise the next day to make sure that I picked up that rifle. The next day, I took my newly built Mk14 EBR Mod 0 clone out to the range to send some freedom seeds. This build is an absolute beast, weighing in around 14 pounds when fully loaded. Shooting the EBR always brings a huge smile to my face. You can just feel the power of the 308 battle cartridge thumping out of this beauty. There is nothing like the sound and the mechanics of the M1A as it cycles around. It's just so satisfying. A range day without accuracy testing this venerable legend would be a crime, so I set up for a 5-shot group to see what she was capable of. The very first shot I pulled and I immediately felt it, so I settled back in, getting a better feel for the trigger. I restarted that group. 5 shots later and I was sitting at about 0.75 MOA, with a few shots going through some of the same holes. Call me impressed. These are exactly the kind of results I was hoping to get out of this newly refreshed M1A from Smith Enterprise. The ammo I used for these precise groups was Remington Premier Match 308 168 grain. I've had fantastic results with this ammo before, so I'm glad to see that my M1A likes this ammo as well. For the clone purists out there, you will notice the lack of foregrip and my choice of bipod and optic. For me, I appreciate the platforms with my personal spin and preference on them. These aren't safe ponies, but usable, viable platforms ready to get out there and train with. I feel incredibly blessed to have such friends like Ron and Andy over at Smith Enterprise, creating iconic rifles and then telling those stories to share with people like yourselves. If you own an M1A, give Smith Enterprise a closer look. You can order parts from their website a la carte, or you can send them your rifle for the full treatment. Either way, you'll breathe some new life into your rifle that shows that it can continue to stand the test of time.